Peace and love, family. This is your girl, Crystal, from the Black Economic Exchange Group. Welcome to the show. This show showcases Black-owned businesses locally and online in the Metro Detroit area. Today, I am proud to introduce this young lady. She is a mentor. She is an entrepreneur. And she has her own show, Yeah, I Said It podcast. And she also has Uncommon Conversations on WHPR every Friday and Saturday. Zsa Zsa Hubbard, welcome to the Black Economic Exchange Group, Queen. How are you?
Hey, as Detroiters would say, what up, doe? And thank you for having me on this amazing platform.
What up, doe? I'm excited about interviewing you. I know you're always the person that interviewing, but I wanted to talk to you about, because you are a host and you're all around the city doing different awards and hosting. Mm-hmm. I wanted to know how does it feel to, what challenges do you have going to being a host and getting into the Oprah field, as I call it?
Yeah. Well, with production, anything can happen. Mm-hmm. So when you are in this particular industry, you have to be prepared for anything. One of the particular challenges that I face is finding people who actually say what they actually do what they say they do. That is a real huge challenge, especially in the media industry, because people think it's just easy to pick up a camera and just get to talking. And it's a lot of preparation that goes into a successful production. And so some of the challenges that I face is finding people who are actually committed to their own craft. You can't be committed to mine if you're not even committed to yours. So finding people who do what they say they're going to do.
So take me into, so it's more than just being a host. You got the behind the scenes, and I'm learning that too, because this is new to me. But how do you go about finding anyone to take me to a day of production? What does that look like?
A day of production looks like we already have to have the space prepared prior to. You have to have your guests prepared prior to. You have to have their information and be prepared to ask some questions, and then making sure that your team and the equipment that you need is available. And then the day of production, your set should be set up already. If it's not, then you're dealing with a setup. And then after that, it's a matter of being prepared, hair and makeup, having your wardrobe, reflect what you're watching, because you don't want people to be distracted by you per se, by you being the host. You want them to be paying attention to the guests, especially if they have great resources and some things that can impact the community. After you get yourself together as a host, you are making sure that your guest is ready, making sure that they got the links, or they have the space, or, they're in position, because after all, you're a host and you're getting ready to have an event or have a show. So you want to make sure that you have those people in place so that you can have the actual show. During that time frame, it's just a matter of executing an interview. And that also depends on your guests. You have some guests that are verbal and they don't have a problem with having dialogue about their craft. And then you have some people, you have to pull a little bit more out of them because they're not as verbal, or they're not as prepared about their brand, and then after we finish filming, we got to edit. We got to chop up the show. We got to see what worked, what didn't work. And then you got to put it all together. And that's very tedious, especially if you have a particular look that you're going for. And then it's repeat.
Now, I got a question. All that you do and everything we do, what inspired you to go into, because I know you're a motivational speaker. I did not add that. And, you definitely mentored my daughter. So what made you go into this line of business?
Well, being the oldest of 5 sisters and 3 brothers, I watched my mom become a single mother, and she was so diligent in her craft. She was a makeup artist and a brand ambassador before it was popular to be one, but she worked for Marshall Fields and Hudson's and Cardot and Clinique. And I saw my mom love her craft despite how much money she made, who invited her to what, but I saw my mother enjoy what she loved. And when you do what you love, you can do it effortlessly. And I know that I speak from the heart, and what comes from the heart speaks to the heart. And so with my desire to help my community, I utilize my voice and my personality to help with personal development, because we all need somebody to be there for us, especially people that we think should be there for us. And sometimes they're not. So I wanted to be that person that people knew that they can depend on. And I wanted to showcase that gift that God gave me through media.
And you know what I like about your show, Zsa Zsa, is real. Is you keep it 100. You put everything out on the floor. And you know, we both are survivors of COVID, and we
Yeah.
also are survivors of losing back to back family members in COVID, like in 1 month.
Yeah.
Both of us experienced. I lost my mom and my sister. You lost both of your grandmothers. You
Yes.
know, how did you be able to pivot through all of that? Because you even actually went live showing the struggle that you went through during the COVID. How did you be able to pivot through that and come back and just have this beautiful smile on your face?
Well, the first thing is I've always taken care of myself. I grew up as an athlete. Shout out to Mackenzie Staggs. I always took care of myself. And so I was kind of like building my immune system up. And so when it happened, I wanted people to see that this was real. Like, this is not a joke, because, our people don't believe it happens until it happened to us. We don't believe stuff until it's on our doorstep. But I wanted people to see how real this was. And I was at home by myself. I didn't have anybody here with me. And I needed people to know, if something go down up in here, y'all see me, I'm this live. This is real. This ain't no, edited version, And so after having that experience, because all I kept thinking about was, God, just let me live to see my son graduate. Just let me see my son graduate. That was my only thing. And I just wanted God to let me live to see the morning. And I fell asleep on the couch, barely being able to breathe. And I opened my eyes and saw like the dawn through the window. And I said, okay, God, let me live the first night through this thing. And then to turn around after I had it and survived and lose both my grandparents, it was devastating. But being able to pivot through loss, because of my grandparents, I had already lost my parents. So it's kind of weird for me to say this, but when you lose like your parents, or somebody that's in your immediate family, and I'd say my grandma, not my immediate family, but I lost my parents already. So there was already something that had been taken from me. And I just had to learn to appreciate my relationships with my grandparents, because they were both amazing individuals. And I just wanted to make sure that they see me do what they knew I was going to do, and be who I said I was going to be. And it's difficult. I'm still pivoting, helping people with grief and being a grief coach. But I also know that they loved me, and they were proud of me. And I know that we had a great relationship. They love God, and they raised me to love God. So I learned to just be at peace with certain things, because I don't want to deal with the anxiety and depression that comes from death.
And speaking of that, also you have the Kelly's Foundation. Can you tell me about the Kelly's Foundation? I know it was named after your mom, but can you tell us about it?
Yes, absolutely. The Kelly's Kids Foundation is a nonprofit organization that provides resources and support to children who have lost their parent or guardian. And so when my mom passed away in 2015, my youngest sibling, my sister Marshawn, shout out to Nunu, she was 12 years old. And I couldn't imagine losing a parent at 12. That's a really pivotal point in a kid's life. They're transitioning from middle school to high school. And I just knew that my sister wasn't the only kid out there like that, having to be raised by a grandma or auntie or older sibling, or even being adopted for that matter. You know you have a parent and now they're gone. That has a lot to do with your psychological, and everything that you do from there is going to affect your decisions because you no longer have a parent. My honest goal for the Kelly's Kids Foundation was to help youth in communities that look like ours to deal with those personal developments while they're dealing with grief and those transitions of not having a parent. So we just make sure that we do warm for the winter campaign by providing hats, scarves, coats. We do the Kelly's Kids Christmas with McKenzie Middle and Elementary School partnership. We're working on the wheelchair ramp project where we're going to be providing wheelchair ramps for low-income families that can't afford to get a ramp for their home to get in and out. So a lot of our initiatives were things that we had to deal with our mother before she passed away. You know, she had muscle weakness, back and forth to the doctors. There are a lot of things that you don't know to ask when you look like me and you at the doctor's office. There are a lot of things that people don't know when it comes to the legalities and being a guardian over an adult, dealing with a state and so many things of that nature. So we just wanted to make sure that we equipped people in our community with those resources.
Well, girl, I know your show is like testimony to me. I'm like, yes, girl, yes. How did you know I was talking to you? So with that said, can you give me your social media handles and where, if they wanted to reach out to you or reach out to you regarding Kelly Kids Foundation, could you give me that information?
Absolutely. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Zsa Zsa C Hubbard. That is ZSA C Hubbard, Hubbard. Yes, I was named after Zsa Zsa Gabor. That is my real name. This ain't no fake name. So if you have somebody out there trying to pretend to be me, they lied. But again, it's at Zsa Zsa C Hubbard on all social media platforms, or you can check out my website at www.zsachhubbard.com.
Thank you so much. I thank you for being on the show. And you guys tune in next time. And you guys have a good day.